Here are the video solutions for AQA Functional Skills Maths Level 2. This paper is March 2023 and this is paper 1, which is the non-calculator paper. So question number 1, here are 6 numbers. We want to work out the median, so we just need to remember that the median is the middle value when the values are in order. Now luckily the values are in order, so let's find out the one in the middle. So cross off one on the left and the right. Cross off one on the left and the right. Now, I was hoping to end up with 1 in the middle, but because we've got an even number of values, I'm getting 2 in the middle. Now, in this case, the median is halfway between 13 and 15, or halfway between 13 and 15 is, of course, 14. So the median here is 14. Question number 2. This question here is just checking our understanding of BIDMAS. So the B stands for brackets, so let's do the brackets first. 7 plus 3 is 10. So the question is now 10 squared minus 6 times by 4. We don't have any brackets, but we do have some indices. So 10 squared, that's 10 times 10. So the question is now 100 take away 6 times by 4. We have subtraction and multiplication, but multiplication comes before subtraction. 6 4s are 24. So the final calculation is 100 take away 24, and 100 take away 24 is 76. Question number 3. A couple of things we need to know. First of all, that this angle here is a right angle, so 90 degrees, and the angles around a point add up to 360. So first of all, the angles that we know are 1, 6, 7 and 90, so if we add those together, I'm just going to add 100 and take away 10, so 2, 6, 7, go back 10, 2, 5, 7. So therefore x is going to be 360 take away 257. 6, turn that into a 5 so that the 0 becomes 10. 10 take 7 is 3. 5 take 5 is 0. 3 take 2 is 1. So this angle here is 103 degrees. Question number 4, we are dividing a decimal by a whole number, so we can do that. So 3.762, make sure you write a decimal point above the decimal point in the bus stop. 3 divided by 9 is not 3, that's 9 divided by 3. 3 divided by 9 can't be done, so 0, move the 3 across. 37 divided by 9 is 4, 4 9s are 36, so that's a remainder of 1. 16 divided by 9 is 1, well 1 times 9 is 9, so that's a remainder of 7. And 72 divided by 9 is 8. So the answer is 0.418. Question number 5. The probability of an event happening is 83%. So what is the probability of the event not happening? Well, probabilities always add up to 100%. So it's going to be 100% take away 83%. So that will give us 17%. Okay, so moving on to section B. So Calvin's making fudge. A recipe needs 9 ounces to make 30 pieces, and Calvin wants to make 40 pieces. So 30 pieces, we need 9 ounces of butter. So how much butter do we need for 40 pieces? Okay, so what I'm going to do is work out how much for 1 piece. Okay, so there's 30 times fewer pieces, so I need to divide 9 by 30, and 9 divided by 30 is 0.3 ounces. Okay, so 1 piece requires 0.3 ounces, so 40 pieces, that's 40 times more, so I need to multiply this number by 40, and 0.3 times by 40 is 12 ounces. Now I know that 1 ounce is 25 grams, so 12 ounces is going to be 25 times by 12, and 25 times by 12 is 300 grams. So in total, that's 300 grams is the amount of butter that Calvin needs. He's already got 175, so he needs 300 grams minus the 175 that he has already, so he needs an additional 125 grams of butter. Okay, part B. Calvin makes the 40 pieces. 14 are covered in white chocolate, the remaining in milk chocolate. What fraction does he cover in milk chocolate? Okay, so how many does he cover in milk chocolate? Well, that's 40 take away 14, which is 26. So as a fraction, that is simply 26 out of 40. Both of these numbers are even, so let's divide top and bottom by 2. That is 13 over 20. There we go. So that's our answer, 13/20. Okay, and part C, we're working at the volume of the box. So work out the area of the triangular face. Well, the area of a triangle is base times by height divided by 2. So the base is 6, the height is 8, and that's going to be divided by 2. 6 times by 8 is 48. 48 divided by 2, and that is 24. So after step 1, we're getting the answer 24, and step 2, we're multiplying it by the length, which is 9. So step 2 is 24 multiplied by 9, and that comes to 216 cubic centimetres. So that is the volume of the box. So just right here, this is the box volume. So how many pieces of fudge can he fit in the box? So each piece requires 10 cubic centimetres. So how many 10s are in 216? 216 divided by 10 is 21.6. Now that's closer to 22 than 21, but we have to round it down to 21 because 22 pieces will exceed this box volume. That will come to 220, which obviously that's not enough volume. So the answer is 21 pieces, and there'll just be a tiny bit of free space. There we go, so 21, and we're done. This is paper 2 from March 2023, and this is the calculator paper. So question number 1, circle the largest number. So having a calculator is not really of much benefit here. Let's just write them in a column: 2.4, 2.41, 2.396 and 2.409. So in the units column they're all the same. In the tenths column we've got a 4, a 4, a 3 and a 4. Now 3 is less than 4, so this one here cannot be the largest number. Okay, so let's take a look in the so in the tenths we've got 4, 4 and 4. In the hundredths we've got, well, this one's blank, so you could put in a 0 here. So we've got a 0, 1 and a 0. 1 is greater than 0, so this number here, 2.41, is the largest number. Write the number 2,408,000 in digits. So if I just write a really big number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, counting from the right, group them in threes, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. We need to remember that this first comma here means 1,000, and that this second comma here is 4 million. Okay, so what we've got here is 2 million, so 2, and the million is going to be represented with a comma. 408,000, so I'm going to write 408 and then another comma, and there's nothing after the 1,000, so the next 3 digits will all be 0. So there we go, 2,408,000. So putting the commas in can certainly help making sure you get that question correct. Write the ratio 150 to 240 in its simplest form. Well, first of all, chop off the zeros. You've divided the ratio by 10. That didn't involve any thought. Now we need to think a little bit. What can we divide 15 and 24 by? Well, they're both in the 3 times table. 15 divided by 3 gives me 5, and 24 divided by 3 gives me 8. Can that ratio be simplified any further? No, it can't. So the ratio is 5 to 8. Okay, question number 4. A cube has side length of 3 centimetres and we want to draw it on the isometric paper. Okay, so I think we need to assume that each dot to dot is 1 centimetre. So 1, 2, 3. It's hard to describe why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, but 1, 2, 3. So this is the front face. So this 3 needs to be parallel to that. So again, going downwards like so, and this line here will be parallel to that one. Now the next, so if this is the front, then I'm going to do the top now. So 1, 2, 3 going in this direction, and also from here 1, 2, 3, join them up like so, and this line down needs to be, well, 3 units parallel to this one. So 1, 2, 3, and join them up. There we go. There is my cube with side length 3. That's all we need to do. Okay, obviously for that one, better if you use a ruler, of course. Okay, 3% as a decimal. To go from a percentage to a decimal you divide by 100, and 3 divided by 100 is 0.03. As a fraction, percent means out of 100, so 3% means 3 out of 100, which is a fraction. Can that fraction be simplified? No, it can't. Okay, for question number 6, we need to remember the basic formula that density is mass divided by volume. So here the density is the mass, which is 59.5, divided by the volume, which is 17. If this is grams and this is cubic centimetres, then the density will be grams per cubic centimetre, and that is the unit we're using here, so we don't need to fiddle around with any units here. Just type that into the calculator, 59.5 divided by 17, the answer is 3.5 grams per cubic centimetre. Okay, for this question here, nice and easy. We can't add eighths and quarters because the bottom numbers are different, but we can turn quarters into eighths quite easily. The number on the bottom has just been doubled, so for an equivalent fraction, we'll just double the number on the top, so a quarter is 2/8. So what we've got is 7/8 plus 2/8, which is 9/8. Now we've got a top-heavy fraction here. The number on the top is bigger than the number on the bottom. So let's turn it into a mixed number as requested here. 9 over 8, that means 9 divided by 8. How many 8s go into 9? Well, that is 1, with 1 remaining. So the answer is 1 and 1/8. Okay, and that's now on to section B. So for question number 8, we know that the minutes running to minutes walking is in the ratio of 7 to 4. So if the ratio is 7 to 4, that means 7/11ths of the total was running and 4/11ths of the total was walking. Well, where does the 11 come from? Well, 7 plus 4 is 11. So what we want to do is work out 7/11ths of 55. And we also separately want to work out 4/11ths of 55. Now remember, when you're working out a fraction of a total, you take your total, you divide by the number on the bottom, and then multiply by the number on the top. 55 divided by 11 is 5. 5 times 7 is 35. 55, we do the same thing over here. 55 divided by 11 multiplied by 4, and that is 20. And just check, is 35 plus 20? It's 55. Perfect, so we know we've got it correct. So what we need to do now is, well, 35 minutes walking, so that's 35 multiplied by 16.2, and separately 20 times by 5.8. 35 multiplied by 16.2 is 567 calories, and 20 times 5.8 is 116 calories. So the total number of calories is 567 plus the 116, and that comes to 683, which is the final answer. There we go, 683. Okay, so the sale has taken 30% off. So what that means is you're paying 70% of the original price. So the original price, we don't know what we want to work out what the original price was. So I'm going to write OP for original price. So I've just said that the original price we need to work out 70% of. So if I'm working out 70%, I need to multiply by 0.7. This is the multiplier for 70%. So the original price, whatever it was, would have been multiplied by 0.7 to give me this sale price of 84. So the original price is going to be 84. I'm going to move the multiply by 0.7 over to the other side of the equation, where it becomes divide by 0.7. So the original price, so our OP, was £120. So how much has it reduced by? Well, it's 120 minus the 84, so that is a reduction of £36. Quite a challenging question, that one. So £36. Okay, next question is a two-way table. So I'm looking at this column here because there's only one gap. So we know there's 180 people in total, 70 did 3k and the rest did 5k. 180 take away 70 is 110. And of these 110, 13 were children, so if I subtract the 13 from the 110, that means 97 were adults, and we can work out the total number of adults, which is these two numbers added together, 121, and just double check, 121 plus 59 does give us 180, so we know we've got it correct. So what is the actual question? A runner is chosen at random. Isra says the probability that the runner is an adult in the 5k race is less than 0.55. Okay, so how many adults were in the 5k race? Well, that is 97. So that is 97 out of a total of 180. So I'm just going to turn that into a decimal. 97 divided by 180 is 0.538 recurring. That is less than 0.55, so we can say yes, she is correct, since 0.538, you could round it to 0.54 if you wanted to, is less than 0.55, and we're done. Okay, question 9. So what we've got here is a table where we need to work out the estimated mean. So we know that there are 5 flats where rent is charged at somewhere between 500 and 550. Now we don't know whether these 5 flats are all 549.99 or they could all be 500. So the best guess is to say that they're all exactly halfway between 500 and 550, so 525, which is why they've done this midpoint column. So what's the midpoint between 550 and 600? That's 575, 625 and 675. Now what we want to do here is we want to work out the estimated mean, and the reason it's an estimated mean is because we're guessing by using a midpoint. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a total or an estimated total column. So if we've got 5 flats with an estimated rent of 525, then the combined monthly rental income is going to be 5 lots of 525, and that comes to 2625. So I'm trying to explain this with quite a few words so that people can properly understand why we're doing a midpoint and why we're multiplying the midpoint by the frequency. A lot of people just automatically do a midpoint and know multiply midpoint by frequency without really understanding why. I guess it's not the end of the world, but it does help if you have a bit more intuition about why we're doing these things. 575 times 6 is 3,450, 625 times 7 is 4,375, and 675 times 2 is 1,350. So the mean rent is going to be the total divided by 20, except here it's going to be an estimated total. So this box here, we're going to add up these estimated subtotals, and that comes to 11800. So the estimated total monthly rental income of these 20 apartments is 11800. So the estimated mean is going to be 11800 divided by 20, and that comes to 590. Now Jack pays 637 per month, so how much more does he pay than the estimated mean? Well, that's just the difference, so 637 minus 590, and that is therefore £47. So answer 47. Okay, so for this question we know Jack plans to save this amount here. He's already got that amount there, so what does he still need to save? It's 18,000 minus 13,200, and that comes to 4,800. Okay, now the rest he's saving from his monthly salary over 24 months. So if I divide this amount, the 4,800 that he still needs to save, by 24, that will tell us how much he needs to save per month. And 4,800 divided by 24 is 200. So this is how much he needs to save per month. Okay, so what percentage of his monthly pay does he need to save? Well, it's 200 out of the 1,600. And if we want to turn this into a percentage, remember we can use our calculator here. It's the top fraction into a percentage is top divided by bottom multiplied by 100, and that is 1/8 or 12.5%. So that 12.5% is the percentage of his monthly pay that he needs to save. Okay, so for this question, first of all, we need to work out how many hours he works. Well, there's 3 hours in the morning and 4 hours. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So 7 hours multiplied by £13.50 is his daily pay. 7 times £13.50 comes to £94.50. Okay, so if 1/5 of his pay is deducted for income tax, well, let's just work out 1/5 of £94.50. So that is £94.50 divided by 5, and that is £18.90 tax. So therefore, the amount he earns after the income tax has been deducted is simply the £94.50 minus the £18.90, and that comes to £75.60. So that's his take-home pay, £75.60. Okay, for question number 10. So we're putting the fenced area in the northwest corner of the field. So north, naughty, elephants squirt water. So it's going to be top left corner. 81 a square that covers 81 meters squared. So that's going to be a 9 meters by 9 meters. And we know that 2 centimeters represents 3 meters. So that is 3, 6, 9 meters. So it's 2, 4, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And of course it would be better if you actually used a ruler and made sure you got it on the lines, but there we go. That's all we need to do there. So a 6 by 6 square in the top left corner. Okay, so using approximations means we're going to round 48. We're going to say that that is approximately 50. We're going to say that 3.21 litres is approximately 3, and this is number of days, and per month, well, we'll just assume that it's 30 days in a month. So we've got 50 goats producing 3 litres per day times by 30, and if we just multiply those 3 numbers together using our calculator, since we can use a calculator, or in your head if you can do it, that comes to 4,500 litres. Okay, so for part C, we know the surface area of soap A. We need to work out the surface area of soap B. So it's a circle and a rectangle. Now the area of the circle is pi r squared, and here we've got another pi r squared. So far we have 2 pi r squared plus a rectangle, which is 1.8 multiplied by the width of it, which is the same as the circumference of the circle, and the formula for the circumference is 2 pi r. So let's do the 2 pi r squared. So that's 2 times by, let's use 3.14. The radius is 5, and 5 squared means 5 times by 5, plus 1.8 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3.14 times by 5. So let's work out the left hand side first. That comes to exactly 157, and the right hand side comes to 56.52. Add the 2 together, we get 213.52, and this is square centimetres, and I'll just note that this is the cylinder. Oops. Okay, right, now what's the actual question? The surface area of soap A is less than 3/4 of soap B. Okay, right, so the surface area of soap A was 153. So 153, and soap B was 213.52. Now this line of a fraction means divide. Now if I divide top by bottom and I get 0.75, remember 3/4 is 0.75, then that means the surface area would be identical. Now if I type 153 divided by 213.52, I get, so let me just write that down, 153 divided by 213.52, that comes to 0.7165, and of course 0.7165 is less than 3/4, which is 0.75. So Kira is correct. Okay, so on to question 11. So what we need to do is plot the 2 extra points. So let's do that first of all. We've got time along the bottom, distance up the side. So we're going 11 along the bottom, so that's halfway between 10 and 12, and that's going up to 150. So 150 is this line here, so perfect. Obviously, if you use a very sharp pencil, you'll be able to do it a bit more accurately than me. And the other one is 16 along the bottom, up to 190. So 150, 60, 70, 80, 90. So there we go. So we've plotted the extra 2 points, and we want to estimate the delivery distance of a parcel that takes 14 hours to deliver. Okay, so yeah, we can't, there are no values at 14 here. So what we need to do is draw a line of best fit. Now you're going to use a pencil and a ruler. You're going to line the ruler up very carefully so that when you draw your line, you know it's a good line. Now I'm just going to gamble here, and it might pay off, it might not. I might have to delete it and do it again. So I'm trying to draw a line that cuts through the middle of the data. I'm trying to keep the dots as close to the line as possible and trying to make sure that we've got the similar number above and below the line. So if I draw a line like so, that's not too bad, except you can see it's probably a bit too thick really with this the size of the pen ink here, and also it's not completely straight. So I'm sure you can do a better job with a pencil and ruler. So if it takes 14 hours to deliver, we need to go up on the 14 and it hits the line here, and just take that off to the side so that we get a reading. And well, you could argue that it's slightly more than 160, but it's not like there's one and one answer only for these types of questions. In the mark scheme, they will allow a range, but you can see that the way I've done it, I've got a distance of 160 kilometers. Okay, does say state the units. Oh, sorry, it's not kilometers, it's miles. So just as well I check that. There we go, miles. Okay, right, let's move on to 11b. So this is nice and easy. We've got a formula. So it's 1.5 multiplied by the weight in kilograms, which is 4.2, plus 0.04 times the delivery distance in miles, which is 85. Now 1.5 multiplied by 4.2 is 6.3. 0.04 times by 85 is 3.4. 6.3 plus 3.4 comes to 9.7, so in other words £9.70. Emil says the costs will be less than £10, so yeah, Emil is correct. And that is the end of this assessment.